students, today we are start with the next unit number 13, simple screen elements. This unit contains mainly 4 lessons. The first one lesson is defining screen elements for output. Lesson number 2, defining input output fields. Lesson number 3, defining check boxes and radio button groups, and lesson number 4, defining push buttons. So before starting about the lesson number 1, here I want to discuss about the last video and the last lecture in which I have discussed about the screen. And in case of screen programming, we need to create the screen elements. Either you can create your own screen elements, or either you can choose these screen elements from the already created structures, and these structures may be either the ABAP dictionary, database tables, or ABAP dictionary views. So if you want to create your own screen elements, you can also create using screen programming. So start with the lesson number 1. The lesson number 1 is defining screen elements for output. You can see this is the first screen element which we are going to discuss here. The first one is this text fields. As you already know about this text field, a text field is generally a rectangular screen area on which the text is displayed, and sometimes we call it as a labels, and these label helps to other elements for showing the description of a particular fields, and these fields may be input and output fields. Additionally, these text elements have icons, lines, and other static elements, and it has also the capability of the multilingual capacity. That means you can also change the language of a field as per the client or user requirements. So if you want to see practically how we can create this text field, come to the particular program using SCAT Object Navigator, where we have a program ZScreen_new, and you can see I have created so many screens, and for this purpose I am selecting the screen number 1800. Now go to the layout editor. Now you can see this is our screen painter, where we can create the number of screen elements. The first screen element that we are discussing here is the text fields, and you can see this is your text field, or it is sometimes also called labels. So just drag and drop, and you can give here the text labels. Suppose in my case I am giving here employee ID. Once you have created this particular element, you must have to give the name of this element so that you can use it in your program. So here I am giving here, this is our first text field, so this is the name of this text field. So by this way you can create the label onto the screen. Now come to the next topic, that is text field attributes. This text field that we have recently created have the number of attributes. Mainly there are 4 attributes which is related to the text field. The first one is journal, second is dictionary, third one is program, and fourth one is display. In journal attributes, you can see each text field has a name, text, icon display, start position, size, modification groups, context menu, switch, or reactions. Similarly, we have another attribute dictionary. That means either you can also select the text field from the ABAP dictionary, and this ABAP dictionary object may be the tables or the views. Third one is program. This is the output options, right justified. Another attribute is display. Either you want to it visible brightly or invisible, you can do that. Apart from that, we have another most important attribute, that is web display properties. So these are the some text field attributes that you can set during the screen programming. Now you can see practically, just double click on it and you can see it has opened the attributes. This is the attributes of particular text fields, and you can set here the icon name. You can also give the tooltip. You can also switch here. You can also take it from the dictionary. You can also use as a input field or output field in the program, as well as display property. If you make it as a bright, so it will show you like a bright one. If you make it invisible, so it goes invisible. So by these attributes properties, you can set or change the screen element. Now come to the next screen element, that is the same creation of the text field that I have already discussed practically. Now come to the next status icon. You can also change the status icon for the output fields that contain an icon. As shown here, the either of the two icons will be relevant at the runtime. Icon allow you to indicate a status in your application. They are predefined in the system and it consists of 2 or 4 characters. You can see that is your icon, status icon. You can display with the help of icons. So if you want to see it practically, come back. So this is the screen element status icon that I was discussing about this one. So this status icon is an output field which contains a particular icon. Similarly, you can also give the name here. In my case, I am giving the name icon underscore 1. You can also give the text here. Suppose I am giving here you can also convert it as a drop down box. It depends upon the application that you are using. So this was about the next screen element, status icon. Now these are the some attributes of the status icon. 4 attributes: general, dictionary, program and display. We have further the types of these general attributes: name, text, icon, display and so on. Similarly, we have other attributes. Now come to the next one, how we can create the status icon, that I have already discussed with you practically. And you can also change the attributes of the particular element. If you want to use it into your program, so you can use as like data, then icon field 1, that is where we have given the name here. In my case, I have given the name icon 1 and then type icon text. Filling a status icon, you can also fill the status icon like this one. Suppose if you want to show your icon onto the screen, so we will use it in our PBO block, process before output. So before displaying the screen onto the window, we want to set the icon. So we will create the here module set underscore icon. When you double click on it, it will open set underscore icon, and you can call the function icon underscore create and pass the parameters like icon checked or unchecked, result and then exceptions. So in the same way, you can create your status icon in the screen. Now come to the next screen element, which is our group boxes. As you all of know, these group boxes encircle a selection of the elements that belong together. That means we make the group of elements that belong to each other and make a group of the fields or a radio button group. So you can see we have the 3 fields here, field 1, field 2, field 3, and we have make the group of these fields and it becomes the group boxes. Now the group boxes, it only serve as a display element by which the user can associate elements onto the screens, and this group box contains a particular title. In this case, it is containing the title is field group. and this graphical element improve your screen layout. Now come to the practical part. You can see here and we have the group box. This is your group box. So by double clicking on it, again you can set the attributes of this screen element. Suppose if you want to give name here, this is box 1, so I am giving here the box underscore 1. The text you can display employee table. So you can see this is a group box name, and in this group box you can put either the radio button, either your checkbox, so it will allow this to make a particular group of these radio buttons or checkboxes. Now come to the attributes of this group boxes. You can see there are a number of attributes again: general, dictionary, program, and display. In the general we have name, text, start position, size, modification group, context menu, switch, and reaction. Similarly we have display, that means we can make it as a invisible. How we can create these group boxes, I have told you in this practical example. Just select the particular box from the screen element list and drag and drop here, and you can also assign the title of this group box. So this was all about the lesson number 1 of the unit number 13. Come to the next lesson, lesson number 2, defining input and output fields. As of all of you know about this, the main field or main screen element is input output field. That means in which the user can input the data or get the output. So this is an important element. Now come to the next topic. Generally, again, an input field is a rectangular screen element in which you can enter data, whereas an output field in which the screen can display the data or text. The automatic field input check relate to the data type of the input fields. As you can see, this is our input output field onto the screen in which the user can enter some data like char ID, in which char ID we can put the LH value, DF value, and so on. It also allows you to data consistency check through the check tables, or you can also convert this input output field as a input help. If you want to create this input output field from the directory, for the dictionary, so you can also do that by selecting from the dictionary fields. Now you can see practically here, this is our input output field. Just drag drop this one, and again you can give the name of this input output field. In my case I am giving input underscore 1, and this is the text. You can also give the text, default text you can assign here. Suppose I am giving here So default value I have settled here. One more thing that I want to tell you, the always the text of this input output field always begin with the underscore. So you need to put here the underscore firstly, and then by the arrow you can extend it. You can see this is the default value it is showing. If you want to get from the user, just blank it out. Now you can also see the other attributes here. If you want to take this input from dictionary, just select from here. You can also define the format, because it is an important data element in which a user can enter any type of data. So we need to specify the format of the input output fields. You can see there are a number of data type it is showing. You can select any one. If the field you have selected for the char ID, that means we need to select the character type. If you want to get the employee ID in this field, you can select the numeric value or integer value. If you want to get the currency value, you can select the currency type here. So it is mandatory to define here the format. Or if you want to take it from the dictionary, just select it and then OK. It will take you to the dictionary elements and then you can use it. Or if you want to use it as search help, just you can click on it and give the search help option here. You can see here, sometimes the user do not want to get the input from the user, just want to display the output or data. You can uncheck it, it will make it as a output field. And in the reverse process, if you want to only get the input, then select in and make the output field unchecked. Sometimes the user also want, or programmer also want, the user must enter this value input output field so that it cannot continue or execute the further program. So you make it as a recommended or required. When you will make it as required, you can see there is a question mark it is displaying. That means without entering the value in this field, the user or client cannot execute or process further. So these are all the properties of this input output fields. Now come to the next slide. These are the attributes that I have discussed in practically. There are number of attributes are there: journal, dictionary, program, and display. Further we have journal, name, text, drop down. The most important thing, you can also make it as a drop down. Come back, you can see we have the option here. You can make it as a list box. Now the icon has been changed, it makes as a list box, or you can also use the list box with the key. So we have two options that we can use here. Just close it and then click on the save button and then compile it. And we have not specified here the field name, so we need to specify the field name. Here I am specifying this is field underscore 1, and then click on the save, check for the errors and then activate it. Now you can execute directly this screen, specify the window coordinate, and you can see now it has becomes the list type. We have not entered the list of elements, so it is not showing any element list. You can see this is our box in which we have given the label, and these are the group of which you want to make it, checkbox or group button. This is our text field or label. Now come to the next slide, creating input output fields. The way I have told you, by this way you can create these input output fields and you can use into your ABAP programs. Now come to the next one. This is your drop down boxes, another screen element. You can see it as a practically. Now you can see that I already discussed about these drop down boxes. That means you can convert your input output field directly to the drop down list. So that I have already discussed about this one. Now this was about the lesson number 2 of the unit number 13. So dear students, starting with the next lesson, lesson number 3 of the unit number 13, defining checkboxes and radio button groups. Checkboxes and radio button groups also allow you to enter some values through the options. You can see in this figure we have two groups. The first one is radio button group and second one is checkbox group. And in this radio button group there is an allowment of choosing any one option out of these, because we have taken it in a box group, box element. Similarly, in the case of checkbox, it is different, it behaves different. You can select more than one option in this group. Similarly, we have to put all of these checkboxes fields into a box element. And for this radio button group as well as checkboxes, user can choose functions using the mouse. Now you can see it practically. This is our radio button group, and you can see we have already created a box employee table, and we have put here the one radio button. Second, we are putting here the radio button. Again, you can also give the name here. In my case, I am giving here the box underscore 2. Similarly, you can also give the text here. Suppose I am giving here blue. For this one, I am assigning the text. This is our red. So once you have given all of these fields into a box, you need to make it a group. So for making this into a single group, just select both of the fields, this one and this one, and then right click on it and make the radio button group define. So once you have defined it is in a particular group, now you are able to select any one of these options. So we can check it. Just click on the save button, compile it, and then activate. And then execute. Now you can see either one of the fields you can select from this one. Now if you want to go back, the one thing that I want to tell you here, this is a field in all required entry field, because we have made it as a required field. You can also set the attributes of these fields, radio button fields. You can see we have the number of fields here. You can select either one fields. Now come to the next topic. These are the attributes of the radio button as well as a checkbox. I forget to tell you about the checkboxes. In the similar way, you can also create the checkboxes. And again, if you want to make the group of it, just select the box from here, screen elements list, and select the checkboxes. You can see here we have created here the box, given the name here. This is our second box, so I'm assigning here the box 2. You can also give the title. I think it is saying the field name box 2 is already exists, so we can change it. This is box underscore C, and then you can define the text. Now you can select from the element list the checkbox and just give here. Similarly, we need to give here the checkbox C1. This is the name and the text. Suppose I am giving here red. Similarly, you can take another one. Similarly, we can also give here the name of this checkbox, then red, then green, and similarly blue. Now click on the save button, check for the consistency, and activate your screen, and then execute. Now you can see you can select more than one. Now come to the main thing, that is your attributes of the radio button and checkboxes. There similarly we have the number of attributes, general attributes, dictionary, program and display attributes. Now that I have already discussed about the practical example of this creating a checkbox, how we can create the checkboxes. You can also use these checkboxes into a program by declaring it globally with the help of data statement. This is a data and then the name that you have defined onto the screen, and the name is check1, and then type. You are defining here the type is, that is your character type, so you can give here the accordingly type. That I have already discussed about this radio button group, how you can create this radio button group. This is the first step. Just select all of the fields, all of the radio button fields, and then right click and then define radio button group, and then click on the define button. Now this is an example program of the radio button and check boxes. You can see number of elements you have created like check boxes and then radio button group you can use into your program. And the module that works behind this one is, that is PI, that is process after input. That means after selecting any checkbox, after given input by the user, what will happen. So we need to define all of the functioning of the checkboxes into a PI module. As you can see, this is a PI module. In this PI module we are defining here the case okay underscore COD, and when chak1 is our first checkbox. So on this, by clicking on this first checkbox, what will happen? So you can define it case 1 when chak1 is enabled. So what you want to perform, you can give in the instruction here. Similarly, if you want to select when toggle, that means radio button group you have selected, then what you want to execute, you can display using case and when. So this was all about the lesson number 3 of the unit number 13. Now come to the next lesson, lesson number 4, defining push button. Sometimes we call it this push button as a command button. By clicking on this push button or command button, you can execute any number of instructions. So you can see here how we can create the push button. Come to the next topic. You can see these are the some kind of push button that you can also create onto your screen. On the basis of this clicking, user can determine the program flow, and the function which are related to the individual screen elements or group of screen elements may behave likely. And the user can give this input using the mouse here. So come to the practical example. You can see we have here push button. Just select it and then use it. Again we need to give here the name. This is our button 1, so I am assigning here B1, and you can also give the button text. Suppose I am giving here the OK button. Other thing you want to give, just for example I am assigning here the submit. Click on the save button. Similarly another button you can take, push button, just click on it, and then name I am giving here, this is B2, and the text is cancel. Similarly you can also select the properties or attributes. The most important thing that I want to discuss here, for each and every button that you are defining onto the screen must have a function code. So I am assigning here the function code, like I am assigning this function code is submit. Okay, now click on the save button. Similarly for this one function code I am assigning, this is cancel. And these function code you can use in your program. Now come to the next topic. These are the attributes of the push button: name, text, icon display, start position, size, function code. This is the most important thing. By assigning this function code, you can use it on clicking, what action user has to perform, and what screen you want to get. So all of these you can define using the function code. Another is dictionary. From ABAP dictionary you can also get the program dialog behavior, and you can also make it invisible. How we can create and process push button, I have shown it to you practically. Some of the attributes that I have discussed here: the name, tags, function code. This is a function code. You can see it step by step. Suppose once you have assigned this particular push button onto a screen, when you will double click on it, that means on clicking, that means the screen has already been displayed, and on clicking means process after input. So you need to define the code for push button is always in the PAI. Just go to the PI module and select your module use underscore command 1, where you can give the command here. Suppose this is case OK underscore code. When this is the function code, on the basis of this function code it will execute the particular instructions. You can see it practically. Just go there. We have assigning here we have already assigned the function code is submit, and for this cancel we have already assigned the function code. If you want to use this button here, just go back, select here the PI module. So this is our PI module of this screen. In this PI module we have already user command. Just double click on it, click on the yes button. Now click on the OK. Now OK. And do you want to save? Yes. The same thing we need to give here. Suppose on the basis of input you want to give here, we can define here the case. This is our case. In this case you can give here the OK code. This is OK underscore code, and then when means, that means we are assigning here the function code. Suppose the function code is submit. What you want to perform you can give here. In my case I can give here, this is called screen number. Suppose I am giving the screen number is 1700. In the same way you can also use the function code. The function code was cancel, and just click on this and assign the instruction here, all screen, and in this case I am calling the screen number is 1500. So by this way you can assign the programming code. So this was all about the lesson number 4 of the unit number 13. So here the unit number 13 has been completed. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel for further videos.